Hi there, welcome to the Wardenberg Family Farm. Join me today as I preserve 70 pounds of tomatoes.
Okay, tell me again, why is this a marathon?
Well, I've been needing to do this anyway, it needs done, but yesterday our beef came and we keep a quarter for ourselves, so we had to find room in the freezer. The freezer was full of tomatoes I've been freezing all summer long. So 14 gallons of tomatoes had to get out of the freezer. Thus, the 14 gallons that I have to process today. And I think I'm going to be doing a big batch of tomato sauce and then taking that many different ways, maybe to pasta sauce, to barbecue sauce. I'm not exactly sure, so we'll see what happens.
It's also not a bad weather day, is it?
No, it's dreary, rainy, yucky, so it's a perfect day to can, although every day is a perfect day to can.
Spoken from an addict.
So, first thing I have to do is dump all the tomatoes out of the bags. And I'm going to do an experiment. A lot of people, when they freeze tomatoes, you know, when you thaw them out, there's a lot of water in the bottom. You can get rid of it, and they thicken up faster. I'm going to keep the water, but do something I saw somebody else try. They said that tomato juice has a lot of flavor in it. You don't want to get rid of it. So I'm actually going to drain the juice off into a separate pot and cook that separately. It'll be a lot quicker just to boil down a pot of tomato juice than to, thicken up and boil down the whole thing of tomatoes and juice together, I think. This is going to be an experiment, but it makes sense to me, so it's worth a shot.
It's going to smell like tomatoes, just like Italy.
Yeah, well, but we're not having pizza today.
No, good.
If you didn't see our Italy video, we're both a little tired of pizza at this point. So, first start just by emptying all the bags out of tomatoes and draining their juice.
How much water do you expect to get from this?
A lot. I mean, I guess when you freeze them, it breaks down the cell structure and all the liquid just comes right out of them. So, it would make it thicken up faster if you get rid of all the liquid, but it makes sense that there's a lot of flavor and stuff in that juice. So I'm going to try to get it cooked down to a concentrate and then mix it in with the tomatoes, which have hopefully also thickened up. That's the plan anyway.
Sounds like a good master plan.
We'll see. I like experimenting. And if it makes sense, it seems like it's worth it. I almost forgot I'm doing another experiment today. Not only am I going to drain the juice off, cook the juice separately, but the tomatoes after they're drained, I'm going to puree them before I cook them. Any other time I've made sauce, I've cooked them all down and then pureed it into the sauce. I saw a woman on YouTube. You learn all kinds of things on there. She said that you might as well go ahead and puree it before you cook them. Number one, it's safer, because if you're doing batches of boiling hot tomatoes in the blender, it can spray out and burn you. You just have to be careful with it. Since they're cold, it's very much safer. But also, she said, when you blend things like that, you do incorporate air bubbles into it. So if you do it after it's cooked, sometimes you get more air bubbles in your sauce. Whereas if I do it now and then cook it down, supposedly the air bubbles cook out and you have less bubbles in your sauce. That's the theory. But
so is it good not to have bubbly sauce?
Yeah, you don't want to bottle air bubbles in your can, anything canning.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just batching them batch by batch in here, dumping them in there batch by batch, pureeing them up like crazy. I saw one lady describe this as blending the living daylights out of it because it does grind up the seeds, the skin. You don't know they're in there. It is just beautiful, delicious tomato sauce.
And what tool is that you're using?
This is a Vitamix, a very heavy-duty powered blender, and I use it a lot. Now, I know some people say if you leave the season, it's bitter. Well, if you watch another video I did a year ago, we did a taste test both ways, and there was no difference in the bitterness. The one with the seeds and skin in actually tasted better. So that's the way I'm going to keep doing it. And I know there's some people say you shouldn't use skins on the tomatoes. I do. So I'm a little bit of a rule breaker, but it tastes delicious and it's worked wonderfully for us for years. So just dump the tomatoes in and blend the living daylights out of them. And then put it in the roaster to start cooking down and thickening up. How much I can get in there in one batch? I'll go for it.
pretty smart wearing a shirt same color as your product today.
I didn't plan on that, but it's probably a good thing because I tend to be messy. Now look at that. There is no sign of seeds, skin, anything. It's just beautiful, beautiful tomato sauce. Pureed tomatoes.
Looks good to me.
Yeah, it's gonna be delicious. And then it goes in the roaster to start heating up. And I'm not sure how much I can fit in my roaster. We're gonna find out today. I might be doing a roaster and a big pot full, we'll see. Put everything to the test here. All right, so this is what 14 gallons or 70 pounds of tomatoes looks like when the liquids are strained out and the solids have been pureed. I have a whole roaster full of pureed tomatoes, as well as the stock pot full of roasted tomato or pureed tomatoes. And then I have 2 pots for the liquids, and I'm gonna get them boiling at a pretty good clip.
Wait a minute, look at this one is,
That's the sauce.
yeah, beautiful, isn't it?
Yep. And it smells like tomatoes in here, that's for sure.
Yeah, and then these are the,
This is all liquid that drained off of those tomatoes that normally I would have thrown out.
okay.
But I'm going to boil it and boil it and boil it and trying to get it condensed down to a more of a thick tomato juice.
There's
and then,
another one.
Yep, and then add that back into the sauce.
So wait a minute, you have 4 pots or 4
Yes.
heating containers going at once.
Yes, 2 for the sauce and 2 for the liquids.
Okay, and then how are you accomplishing that? You have,
2 on the gas range. That's actually my daughter-in-law's induction burner.
okay.
And then the big roaster. I was kind of hoping it would all fit in the roaster. That was a little optimistic.
Yeah. Well, then you got 2 other induction burners.
Yeah,
here.
those are when I start canning it. I'll be using the 2 induction burners over here for my canners.
Wow.
So yeah, this is a marathon day.
Well, all this goes to prove one thing.
What's that?
You don't need a summer kitchen or a canning kitchen.
We'll see. Maybe someday. But for right now, this does work, I have to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be a long day. So now it's just a lot of cooking and stirring and cooking and stirring.
And you love that.
I do. I do.
It's time to taste test the tomato juice that was poured off in the beginning of the process. We want to see what this tastes like. Now this was boiled down probably what, I'm looking at 80 or 90%.
Probably,
So
yeah.
it's much more concentrated. You know, remembering, I have to remember again that the tomato paste and the tomatoes in
Tomato sauce.
the sauce, without any seasoning or flavoring, you know, doesn't have an amazing flavor, but I'm kind of curious to see what this tastes like at all. We'll see. Wow.
Got
That has
flavor.
Yeah, it's got a lot of flavor.
Okay.
And it's really good. I can taste a lot of tomato, and even it almost tastes like it has a little bit of salt in it.
It's just the tomato juice.
Wow, this is good. This is much better than the raw cooked down tomatoes itself. So definitely it seems worth it to put it back in.
Yeah, I think I've been dumping that all these years.
Yeah, it seems like wasted. This
Yeah.
is really good.
Well, I'll be adding it into the sauce then.
Okay. So what are you doing now?
Well, I'm going to drain that concentrated juice off because there were a couple seeds in it.
Oh, you're straining it.
Is it going to hold it all? Maybe not quite. Yeah, I just want to make sure I strain those seeds out. But look at that. That was like almost clear liquid when I started.
Yeah.
That's all concentrated tomato flavor. Nice. Well, the marathon continues. Excuse the noise, but I have 13 quarts of plain tomato sauce in the canners, and I pulled out, I think it was 4 quarts of tomato sauce to make some barbecue sauce. Now this barbecue sauce is a recipe from our brother-in-law, and he makes the best barbecue sauce in the world. Now the only thing is it's made with butter, so of course I can't can it. I'll have to just freeze some. But each batch actually calls for 2 sticks of butter. Maybe that's why it's so good. But it's
not a bad way to start anything, actually, in my book.
But it's butter, and then you saute onions in that.
What's cooking over here?
That's actually the rest of the tomato sauce that I didn't can and I didn't turn into barbecue sauce. I'm going to put some Italian seasoning with it and turn it into just pasta sauce. But I'm cooking it down a little bit thicker. I like my pasta sauce a little thicker.
So when you're all done, what are you going to end up with?
I'll have plain tomato sauce. I'll have hopefully a lot of barbecue sauce.
Wait a minute. Plain? What do you mean?
Plain tomato sauce. No flavorings in it, no Italian, no whatever. It can go any direction. My daughter-in-law uses a lot of it. So she can take it Mexican, she can take it Italian, she can do anything she wants with it. It's just a blank slate. But the rest of it I'll turn into an Italian type of pasta sauce. So I should have 3 products by the end of the day: the plain tomato sauce, the barbecue sauce, and the Italian tomato sauce. And the barbecue sauce will be frozen, hopefully in small plastic containers.
So, tomato marathon continues.
It continues. So I'll bring you back after I get the barbecue sauce mixed up.
All right.
All right, I made my first pass at barbecue sauce and tweaked it 1 time, so I have it where I think it should be. But let's see what the expert says.
Barbecue sauce is tough. We've made it before, and the one time it wasn't great. So let's see how we do here.
That's why I use Jeff's recipe.
Yeah.
His is just the best.
Yeah. Wow. Hey. That is great. You did a great job on that one.
Huh. It's a balance of everything?
Yeah. I love the onion. It's subtle. You know, they have so many different flavors in barbecue. I mean, it definitely has the sweet, and then that has the tangy too, you know, with the...
balsamic vinegar.
Yeah, that was a good balsamic with it. And then the back end, it's got a little bit of kick and spice. So what did you put in it?
Frank's hot sauce and a little bit of cayenne pepper.
Okay. And then probably the most subtle of them all, though, is a little smoky.
And that would be liquid smoke.
Yeah, yeah. So very complex. I love it. I wouldn't touch it.
Wow, I did a good job.
Great job.
Well, now we might have to smoke a pork butt so we can put some sauce on that and have some barbecue.
It packs a real punch. You almost think it's too much, but then when you put it with all the other meat, it flavors it down. So great job.
I'm excited. I have some good barbecue sauce. All right, that's 1 day of marathon down. And I wound up with 13 quarts of plain tomato sauce, 9 pints of Italian sauce for like pasta, and 8 containers of scrumptious Jeff barbecue sauce.
Oh, I can't wait for the barbecue.
Yeah, it was really good, I have to say. I'm tickled with that. I think I have to make more of that.
Yeah.
So thanks for joining me on my marathon. Now the only problem is, I still have 11 bags out there in the other freezer. I'll do that another day. We'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.